Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fort, and we're here for a TBR. I'm telling you about all of the videos you're going to be getting this month on Strip Cover Lit, barring more technical difficulties. So we're going to see. I think I've got a strategy for how to get around that, though. But the first thing I'm going to do is tell you that I have in the comments below, I have pinned a comment from my personal channel. I urge you to go over there, click on my little face down there in the comment section, follow me over to my personal channel, where I will be doing all sorts of videos over there as well. I've been answering a lot of questions, doing a series called Ask Adrian Anything, and basically everyone is asking literature-based questions. So I've answered questions such as, what is your favorite novel over there? I have answered questions to which I gave a multifaceted reply. Not that I got any thank you for it, but that's fine. I mean, that's fine. Hey, we're all, struggling through the situation at hand. I answered, how do you get more into poetry? I've answered, how do I become more of a reader? I answered, how much do you read? Basically, what I'm saying is, you sons of bitches had better start asking questions other than literature-based questions, unless you just want to hear me talk about books on two channels. The title says it all. Ask Adrian Anything. I'll answer anything. I've done several videos that probably shouldn't exist on the internet as far as answering questions from you sons of bitches. But today is June 1st, and I'm posting a TBR. That's what happens on the 1st. Also, on my personal channel, there will be a weekly investor where I talk a little bit about economic stuff and a little bit about stocks. And that's what's going to be happening on Mondays on my personal channel through the month of June. The weekly investor 11 appears today. 12 will be next week, then 13, 14, and the 15th weekly investor will happen on June 29th. Tomorrow, we're going to have on this channel the weekly reader number 8. So I have really enjoyed doing that weekly reader series. If you've not jumped over there, you don't have to watch them numerically. There's no real binding between the episodes. It's just sort of things that I've noticed in literature as I read along this week, or something that came up to me. I try to have every week a poetry reading and a definition that fits the discussion, a definition which comes from literary and thematic terms. So that's sort of what goes on in the weekly reader. I'll talk a little bit about the poem that I read, a little bit about a discussion that comes up around the definition, and go from there. A lot of time, weird things come up. Last week it was Lana Del Rey. I can't tell you why, and how Lana Del Rey refutes the artistic intent behind propaganda. So there's a situation and a conversation I never knew I was going to have or need to have, but I did. So the weekly readers run on this channel on Tuesdays. The weekly reader 8 will be this coming week. The weekly reader 9 is next week. The weekly reader 10 will happen on June 16th. The weekly reader 11 on June 23rd, and the weekly reader 12 on June 30th, the penultimate day of the month. If I have done nothing with this channel since 2015, I hope I have taught some people 2 words, penultimate and verisimilitude. If that has happened, my life is fulfilled. But finally, on Wednesdays, ironically, considering what's happening on my personal channel, we will finish out The Shining. We will have The Shining Part 11 on Wednesday the 3rd. Hopefully I can figure out my technical difficulties. So I'm just going to lay that out there. Having a hell of a time right now. The 10th will be The Shining 12. The 17th will be The Shining 13. The 24th will be The Shining 14. And the 31st, the last day of the month, will be the review for The Shining by Stephen King. Stephen King, The Shining, happening right here. Also on Wednesdays through the month, I will continue doing Popcorn Weekly Movie News, a feature on my personal channel where I talk about movie news, things that have come out about movies that will be dropping. And the final day of the month, the 31st, not only will I have a review for The Shining, the book on this channel, I will have a review for The Shining, the movie, over on my personal channel. And like I said, click on my face in the comments section to go over to my personal channel and subscribe there, you son of a bitch. The Thursday of this week, June the 4th, I will finally be getting around to an Absalom review. It's taken me, I had, I think, a review eaten by technology, which this is why I would prefer to just come to each of your houses and talk about books with you personally. But while I was writing that review, several other things occurred to me. Or while I was recording that review, I was talking it out, and several things occurred to me. So a lot of the review was based around the title and basically not literary criticisms, literary observations. I got a main question for this book that came to me while I was recording that review. So maybe it is serendipitous that review is gone. Fridays through June will be for poetry discussions. The first poetry discussion of the month will be It Gives Me Pause by Langston Hughes. It is a discussion of the Langston Hughes poem. It's about 15 minutes. I've got this one recorded already. Hopefully I'm able to get it figured out. But also on Fridays through the month, I will be continuing on my personal channel the Ask Adrian Anything series. So Ask Adrian Anything 10 will happen on Friday the 10th, or Friday the 5th. Ask Adrian Anything 11 will happen on Friday the 12th. Ask Adrian Anything 12 will happen on Friday the 19th. Ask Adrian Anything 13 will drop on Friday the 26th. Those are all of the Ask Adrian Anythings that I will promise throughout the month. It is possible that I get around to more, so the episode numbers will change. The episode numbers don't mean anything. I'm just responding to individual questions in each of these videos. I told the story a couple weeks ago about all of the times I've accidentally gone on gay dates. So that was interesting to reveal. I get asked out a lot, and I don't realize it. So I'm just an aloof character, I suppose. The Saturdays, I'm going to be starting a new series, not here, but on my personal channel, The Week in Adrian, where I just sort of recap things from the week, hopefully. It helps me vent about things, and that's pretty much the only utility that that series will have. So if you like hearing me bitch about things, maybe that will be for you. So that'll be The Week in Adrian 1. The first one's going to happen this Saturday on the 6th. The second on the 13th, third on the 20th, fourth on the 27th. Now, we're getting into something new here on Monday the 8th. Monday the 8th, we will begin the next in the entire series of Henrik Ibsen plays. This will be Act 1 of An Enemy of the People. This will be the first of a 6-part series. I'm going to go act by act through the play and then end up with a review on July the 14th. So June 8th, we'll have Act 1. June 15th will be Act 2. June 22nd will be Act 3. And June 29th will be Act 4 of the play by Henrik Ibsen. I have had a lot of fun reading Henrik Ibsen. It has been an incredibly informative practice. I've read a few plays before, and I've been in a few plays. And obviously I took Shakespeare in college, so that's oftentimes those plays don't get credit for being plays. They just get called literature, right? So it has been interesting to me. I don't know that I have ever had the experience with reading plays that I have had thus far with Henrik Ibsen. And it is interesting to, I don't remember, is this the third or fourth play we read A Doll's House? This is the fourth. We read, there's a playlist on the channel for A Doll's House, for Peer Gynt, and for Ghosts by Henrik Ibsen. We've read all three of those plays. And it is interesting to read all of these plays, all of these pieces of literature in such close succession, because it's easier to pick up on certain things as they drop, certain themes that have happened before, certain character types that Henrik Ibsen has fallen in love with. And it was Act 1 of An Enemy of the People is incredibly interesting. There is a lot. Henrik Ibsen is so good at subtext. So I'm hoping a lot of people join along for that, because it's good. It's good so far. So here's another new thing that we're going to be starting this month. On Thursday, June 11th, after the Absalom review, all of the Thursdays in June are going to be for short story reviews. And we're going to be starting the first of a 56-part series, journeying I know it's backwards, so you can't read it there. But Let Me Tell You by Shirley Jackson. This is new stories, essays, and other writings. So we're going to be going piece by piece through this. The first short story, which will appear on June 11th, is called Paranoia. And it is a Twilight Zone type punch in the gut. It is a weird story that is befitting only of Shirley Jackson. And boy, is it a slick little story. So I'm looking forward to that review. Thursday, June 18th, is a piece called Still Life with Teapot and Students by Shirley Jackson, the second in a 56-part series. Not my favorite Shirley Jackson story. It is a Hills Like White Elephant type short story, if that makes any sense. It is definitely something that was interesting to read. I haven't shot any of the videos for the Shirley Jacksons yet, so I'm going to have to go through and reread them, compose my thoughts. All I've got done in the book is some highlighting and some marking up of passages that I think are important to themes in the piece. But that one is not my favorite, but definitely it's definitely something. So if you consider yourself a writer, if you're a writer, I think that could be an important short story for you. I think it's something that shows a lot of depth with intent. Intent that does not necessarily, if I'm remembering correctly, intent that does not necessarily appear on the page, if that makes any sense. Like in Hills Like White Elephants, there's a lot of unstated. It's not just the fact that they're talking about an abortion that's unstated. That's one of the things that is underappreciated about Hills Like White Elephants. There are a lot of things that are unstated, and I'm going to have to keep an eye on that as I go back through Still Life with Teapot and Students by Shirley Jackson to see how many things are sort of unspoken there. On the 25th, Thursday the 25th, from Let Me Tell You by Shirley Jackson, we will be reviewing The Arabian Nights, which is the third of a 56-part series. And that one's really good. That one is, there are some, you want to talk about, where's my chapstick? You want to talk about Freud. There are some things going on in that short story that I think are pretty mind-blowing and exciting. It's mind-blowing and exciting. Maybe I shouldn't use that when I'm talking about Freud, huh? But it is a short story that is nuanced, and if Paranoia is slick, this short story is slick times two. So I'm hoping to get into some discussions with that as well. And then we're going to go back to Fridays here. Friday the 12th, we will have a discussion for A Valediction Forbidding Mourning by John Donne. That's a poem I have not read. In fact, so let me show you I got it out of Literature, a Portable Anthology. I just sort of flipped to it and chose it. But I do like John Donne, so we're going to see where that leads me. On Friday the 19th, we will have a poetry discussion for The World is Too Much with Us by William Wordsworth. This is a poem. There's a review for it on the channel, I believe. It's a poem. Ironically, for this month, it's a poem that always gives me pause, that being a playback to It Gives Me Pause by Langston Hughes, which will be on Friday the 5th. It's a poem that always gives me pause because of the oh, there's a pause, huh? That's ironic. But because of the wording involved, the title alone gives me fits in my mind, right? The world is too much with us. It's interesting wording, and that in itself is something to be enjoyed about the poem. But like I say, I have not recorded the video for this discussion, so I'm not sure where the discussion is going to take me. Basically, with the discussions on this channel, the poetry discussions, sort of what I do is I read the poem and I ruminate on it for a little bit, and I try to pluck out the first thing that really strikes me. And I try to run with that idea. It's not like a review where I try to explicate, some of the things that are thematically in there or why this poem works. I don't do 3 good things, 3 bad things, best line, rating and recommendation. Basically, the poetry discussions on this channel, I try to tease out the spirit of the poem, as hippy dippy and hipster as that sounds. I try to just tease out some bit of the spirit of the poem, something that's worth talking about there, and something that if we were to read this together, you and I, if we were to read this together, this is a conversation that might happen. That's sort of what I try to do with the poetry discussions. On Friday the 26th, we will be having a discussion about a poetry discussion for Out by Robert Frost. It is a poem, again, that I got from Literature, a Portable Anthology 2nd edition. It's a poem that I've never read, so I'm not sure exactly what goes in there, but on one of I think it's the Weekly Reader number 2, I confess from the depths of my soul, from the darkest places I am. I confess that I am taking a liking to Robert Frost, which is utterly horrifying for me to say because I have had a disliking for the crotchety old man for so long. So to have to be finding myself gathering a liking for Robert Frost, I'm not sure how I feel about me anymore. So that's the Fridays throughout the month. Those are all of the videos that are going to happen, I think, on this channel. I think I've got a sonnet reading for the 7th, 14th, and 21st, which are Sundays throughout the month. I think I have that many sonnet readings left. I'm going to stop producing those for a little while. No one watches them, you sons of bitches. Where else can you go on YouTube to be harassed and berated like this, to be talked down to in this manner, you sons of bitches? That's got to be 5 times I've cursed at you already this video, and we're not even at the 20-minute mark. But that's all that I think will be on this channel. But I'm going to continue popping in trailer reviews on my personal channel. Again, the review for The Shining. I'm going to review at least 1 movie this month. I think I'm going to try to do 2. I'm not sure how far I'm going to get with that. It's always difficult to throw more things into the stuff I'm already trying to do, but I'll figure it out, I think. I'm not sure what movie it's going to be. I'm thinking about Inception. I'm thinking about throwing a movie review for Inception on that channel. So I do movie reviews a lot like I do book reviews, to where I'm talking about, I'm not doing the Jeremy Jahns sort of, I really like this movie, pop. I don't really do that. It works for him. whatever, good for him. I don't have it in me, I don't think, to do all that. I enjoy talking about the literary and thematic type stuff in the movies, talking about movies as literature, film as literature. I took one of those classes at one point. That's sort of what I do with my book reviews or my movie reviews, is that I try to sort of mimic what I do with book reviews. And on that channel, if you're interested, I do I do book reviews, 3 good things, 3 bad things, quotes, literary discussion, rating, and recommendation. I do best scene, worst scene, and the Oscar goes to, which is for the best performance in the movie. Then I talk about literary stuff in the movie. Then I do rating and recommendation based on the movie. I'm going to try to, so like I say, trailer reviews will pop up periodically over there. I'm going to try to do 2 movie reviews over there this month. I want to start, it was voted that I do Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, a series on that for that channel. So I'm going to try and get the first part of that up this month. That's where I'm going to do any nonfiction reading that I do. I'm going to go through it on that channel as well. So yeah, those are the things that I think we can expect throughout this month. And hopefully I get through this month and don't have the difficulties that I have had. It's a lot of videos. It'll be a lot of work. I don't want to lose any of it. But yeah, if you like this sort of thing, if you like the work I do here on the channel, it really helps me out if you hit the like button. If you have not subscribed but you made it this far in the video, there's something wrong with you. Go ahead and subscribe. We'll see if we can get through this together. Hit my face in the comments section. It'll take you over to my personal channel and subscribe there. And if I can't figure out your problems here on Strip Cover Lit, Adrian over there can probably figure them out. So you should follow me. Just follow me, figure it out.